My name is Catherine. I'm 41, and this is my second marriage. My first husband died 7 years ago. He was a Marine captain, disciplined, brave, with a dry wit and warm eyes. A true hero, they said at the funeral. He died in Afghanistan, shielding his unit from an explosion. I was 34. Our son Jamie had just turned 6. I still remember standing by the flag-draped coffin, my ears ringing, my hands numb. People spoke in hushed voices. A priest gave his sermon, the anthem played, but it all felt like it was happening to someone else. All I could think was, I'm a widow. I'm a widow now. That word, it sticks to your skin like ash. The first years after his death were like living underwater. I went through the motions, woke up, fed Jamie, went to work, cried silently into my pillow each night. My mother helped with the boy. Friends stopped calling after a while. I didn't blame them. Grief isn't contagious, but it makes people uncomfortable. Then, 3 years later, I met Tom. Tom was gentle, a school teacher, kind, quiet. Nothing like Jake, my first husband, and maybe that's why it worked. He didn't try to fix me. He didn't try to replace anything. He was just there, steady. And over time, I allowed myself to breathe again, at first cautiously, then with my full lungs. We got married after 2 years. I started smiling again. I started laughing. Jamie liked him, though he never called him Dad. Things were good, peaceful, almost perfect. Almost. Until Mark came back. Mark was Jake's best friend. They served together. Went through Iraq, then Afghanistan. He stood next to us on our wedding day. He knew me before I became a wife, when I was just Catherine with the wild laugh and big dreams. After Jake died, Mark disappeared. There were a few calls, a couple of messages, then silence. I hated him for that. Not openly, but deep down. He was my last link to Jake, and when he vanished, it was like someone had cut the final thread connecting me to my old life. And then, 7 years later, he called. His voice hadn't changed. A little raspier, maybe, but still calm. Still unmistakably him. Hey Kath, it's Mark. 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 My heart stopped. I'm in town. I was wondering, could we meet? Just talk. I didn't say yes. I didn't say no. I just stood there, breathless. That weekend, Tom was out of town with colleagues. Some education workshop or retreat. I was home with Jamie. After he went to bed, I stared at my phone. There was a message from Mark. If you change your mind, I'm at that old bar we went to after your housewarming. I'll be here till late. I paced the living room for an hour. Then I walked to my closet and pulled out the same dress I wore to that housewarming party. It still fit. The bar hadn't changed. Same scratch tables. Same bartender. Same worn jukebox in the corner. And Mark? He looked older, of course. A few more lines. Grayer at the temples. But still unmistakably him. Sitting in the corner. 2 drinks on the table. You came, he said, standing up. You disappeared, I replied. He nodded slowly. I had to. The truth is, after Jake died, I started falling for you. I felt like it was betrayal. To him. To you. So I left. I re-enlisted, tried to forget. But I couldn't. Silence settled between us. The bar buzzed in the background. But we sat in our own stillness. So why now? I asked. He looked me straight in the eyes. Because I still love you. And I can't carry it around anymore. I'm not asking for anything. I just had to say it. I don't remember who moved first. Maybe him. Maybe me. We kissed. Gently. Slowly. Not with hunger, but with something older. Something buried. Something aching. That night cracked something inside me. I thought I had buried the past. I thought I had moved on. But it was still there, beneath the surface. Mark and I began seeing each other again. Carefully. Secretly. Sometimes we'd just sit and talk for hours. About Jake. About life. About nothing at all. Sometimes it was more than that. He didn't demand anything. He didn't ask me to leave Tom. He said he just wanted to be with me in whatever way I'd allow. With him I felt understood, in a way I hadn't felt in years. He knew who I was before the grief. He remembered my laugh, the way I used to dance barefoot in the kitchen. He didn't flinch. When I brought up Jake, he welcomed it. And that made it worse, because at home I was living a lie. Tom knew something was wrong. He'd ask if everything was okay. I'd smile and say yes. He trusted me. That made it even worse. Then one night, I came home late. Mark had held me longer than usual, and I lost track of time. I crept into the bedroom quietly. The light flicked on. Tom was sitting on the edge of the bed, watching me. "That wasn't work," he said quietly. I froze. "I'm not stupid, Catherine." I didn't say a word. I just sat down beside him. "Is it someone from before?" he asked. I nodded. He stood, left the room, then returned with 2 mugs of tea. He handed me one. "I'm not going to yell. I want you to tell me the truth." So I did. I told him about Mark, about how being with him didn't erase Jake. It honored him. How I felt torn between 2 lives. How I didn't know if I loved Tom, or if I had just been trying to survive. He listened. No anger. No accusation. When I finished, he looked at me and said, "You're not a widow of the past, Catherine. You're a prisoner of it. Maybe I was never your choice, just your shelter." We separated soon after. Tom left without drama. No slammed doors. No harsh words. Just one final truth. I deserve to be someone's choice, not their rescue. Mark stayed a little longer. He thought, maybe now, we had a real chance. But one afternoon, as we sat in the park, he turned to me and said, "I think I was just helping you stay in the past, not move forward. Maybe it's time we both did." And then he left too. Now I live alone. Jamie is a teenager. He asks questions. I don't always know how to answer. Sometimes I catch him looking at me the same way Tom once did. Worried, curious, distant. And I sit at the window every evening, wondering how many more years I'll spend being the widow of the past. Not of Jake, but of the woman I used to be.